Good morning. How the devil are you doing this fine day? Me? Well, you know that expression, hot and bothered? Well, I'm hot and can't be bothered. My 13-stair commute this morning felt like a struggle as I made my way from an oven of a bedroom to an oven of an office, which is fantastic. I can't even put the fan on because the microphone would pick up the sound. However, I am a brave soldier, so if you can put up with me looking even more sweaty than usual, then I can put up with it too. Oh, and by the way, word on the street is that amidst the ongoing CMA investigation into bid rigging that names at least 7 of its members, the National Federation of Demolition Contractors has acquired a shiny new headquarters. The office is called Masterton House, which means it shares its name with the once great demolition company that collapsed in upon itself back in 2015. Conventions in Monte Carlo while members are under investigation for collusion, and a new HQ named after a failed demolition firm. They really are the masters of unintentional irony, aren't they? Now, without further ado, let me post the question of the day. What else am I going to do? Post the question of the day, roll the intro, and get this show on the road. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I'm your host, Mark Anthony. It's Tuesday, the 12th of July, and as it remarkably persistent and incredibly sweaty guy just said, welcome to the Breakfast Show. I am your host, Mark Anthony, and today I shall be the Rear Admiral of Demolition because, why not? In today's show, why is the life of a roofer worth 27 times more than that of a demolition worker? We're getting high in the Netherlands, though not literally. We're taking in a short ride to Kingston upon Thames. You'll see what I did there to see a big Kobelco excavator in action. A German cooling tower projects its past before looking to its future, and a wind turbine comes crashing down at Mystic Lake in Minnesota as CDI chalks up another successful blast. Mystic Lake sounds like the setting of a Friday the 13th movie, doesn't it? We'll get to all of that in just a second, but first, let's see who among the rich and the shameless will be celebrating a birthday on this day of days. Happy birthday! And it's many happy returns to the original pothead, Josiah Wedgwood, and to George Eastman, inventor of the Kodak camera. Happy birthday also to Curly from the Three Stooges, Play School's Brian Cant, and to Fleetwood Mac founder and driving force Christine McVie, to former Charlie's Angel Cheryl Ladd, boxer Julio Cesar Chavez, actress Anna Friel, and to pro wrestler made entirely from gammon Brock Lesnar. And finally, a somewhat controversial happy birthday to the now disgraced comedian Bill Cosby. I realise that his name is now somewhat tainted, but his chicken heart routine from back in the 60s remains one of the funniest things I have ever heard. In fact, it's so funny, I've actually posted a link to it in the chat if you'd like to go and give that a listen. In the meantime, many happy returns to them, one and all. The life of a roofer is worth 27 times more than that of a demolition worker. That is surely the implication of a pair of recent fatal accident prosecutions. In the case of a roofer, the fine levied against the company involved was £135,000. In the case of the demolition worker, the fine was just £5,000. I realise that such fines are linked to turnover and that there may have been extenuating circumstances, but the optics clearly suggest that the life of a roofer is worth way more than that of a demolition worker. Now, we've previously discussed the paltry fine levied against Brown and Mason over the death of a demolition worker at Long Gennet Power Station. But just to recap, Brown and Mason was hit with a £5,000 fine just a few weeks ago after an employee, Gary Robertson, fell to his death when a rusty pipe bridge platform collapsed. A joint investigation by the Health and Safety Executive and the police in Scotland found that the section of metal grating on the pipe bridge on which the deceased had been standing gave way under his weight because it was so corroded. By failing to record the hazardous condition of the pipe bridge, the company had failed to undertake a suitable and sufficient risk assessment. In particular, the risk assessment, which formed part of the final revised method statement, did not address the severely corroded nature of the pipe bridge, despite it being previously highlighted and requested by the client, Scottish Power. Now, there were various machinations at Brown and Mason in the immediate aftermath of the accident, including a company name change. But the upshot was that the company received a fine of just £5,000 for the avoidable death of a worker. Now, compare and contrast that with the £135,000 fine handed down to a pair of companies in Northern Ireland over the equally avoidable death of a roofer. 43-year-old Raymond Morgan fell 5 metres through the roof of a disused factory back on the 28th of May 2014. He died from his injuries the following day. Demolition, site clearance and removal of asbestos materials was contracted to Leslie Wright and to H. Miskimin Limited. The investigation found that Morgan and several other workers on the roof stripping asbestos sheeting, which, when removed, was lowered to the ground using a scissor lift. At approximately 12:15 p.m, Morgan fell through the fragile asbestos roof onto a concrete floor below. Preventative measures were not in place to prevent any worker from either falling from or through the roof structure. Both companies were sentenced at Belfast Crown Court on the 7th of July after pleading guilty to breaches of health and safety legislation. Demolition contractor Leslie Wright was fined a total of £90,000. Wright also received a 9-month custodial sentence, suspended for 2 years, and he was disqualified as a director for 10 years. Construction company H. Miskimin Limited was fined £45,000. Now, the fact that it took more than 8 years for this prosecution to be brought and concluded is perhaps a story for another day. But how can a legal system be so skewed and so inconsistent that a site fatality is considered to be worth £135,000 in one instance and a meagre £5,000 in another? I'd love to get your thoughts.
The Miller GT series heralds a new era of unrivaled power and cutting-edge intelligent coupler technology, increasing job site safety, machine versatility, and productivity. It's the added versatility that you need at the value you can afford. To find out more, visit millergroundbreaking.com.
In both of the two cases we just mentioned, men were killed while working at height. So it seems appropriate that we look at a project from the Netherlands that demonstrates that there's no need to have men standing on rusty pipe bridges or asbestos roofs either. If anyone knows about getting high safely, it's surely the Dutch, right? Demolition, in all its destructive glory, often marks the transition from old to new. And while that new is generally welcome, it is sometimes worth celebrating the old first. And that is precisely what a German power station has done, projecting images of its past onto a massive cooling tower prior to its explosive demolition. And the result is both poignant and beautiful. I'd love to see more explosive demolition companies bidding farewell to structures before they hit the button as well. Although, as our friend Mick has just said, when I can find it, great video. Can you imagine when you tell your client that's how you want to do the job? The client would often would look at the cost and have a heart attack. Trouble in the UK is everyone wants work done on the cheap. Yeah, although I think in that instance it was actually the client that insisted upon that. So yeah, interesting one. And as I say, always good to look back before you start to look forward. I need to press a button. Let me press this one. I live just a few miles from the town of Kingston upon Thames. In fact, it is my nearest decent shopping centre, about 5 miles that away. The town is home to some great shops and some even better bars and restaurants. As you're about to see from our next film, it is also the temporary home of Schultz Group's big Kobelco excavator too. I told you I'm not feeling great today. Let me play you the video while I try and restore my composure. I might take a drive past that later today, even if it's only to enjoy the air conditioning in the car.
Axsoft and Svantec are your high-end partners for noise, vibration, dust and air quality systems, sensors and software. To find out more, visit axsoft.co.uk or call 01234 639 550.
It's tempting to view wind turbines as somehow new-fangled, giant white windmills that arrived on the crest of an environmental wave. While that is the case for some, there are also wind turbines that have been around for so long that they have now reached their best before date. That means they fall under the gaze of demolition companies like American explosive giants, Controlled Demolition Inc., or CDI as we know them. And when they do, frankly, the outcome is inevitable. The CDI portfolio must surely be the envy of the explosive demolition world. Incredible company and incredible implosions.
Sorry to interrupt the guy with the funny glasses, but if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button as it helps our channel. Or, better still, share this video with a friend or a colleague. Thank you. Right, back to Beardy.
Right, that pretty much wraps up the main part of this morning's show. I'm going to roll the outro in just a second before leaping gazelle-like over into the chat to see what you're all saying today. And hopefully we'll have a good chat about the disparity of legal cases involving demolition workers and roofers. We'll see how that one pans out. If you can't stick around, then please stay safe, look after yourself, your family, your friends and your colleagues. Have a great day and thanks for watching. But if you do have the time, the inclination and have something to say, I'll see you on the other side of this.